body that could be a man missing more than a month found floating in a blue hole.
Did you know the Blue Hole in Dahab, Egypt, is also known as a diver's cemetery? It's as deadly as the towering peaks of Everest or K2, where many explorers never return. This underwater abyss is a watery grave, concealing secrets of the lost, much like the icy landmarks on Everest that mark both the path and the perils. What terrifying secrets lie in the depths of the Blue Hole, waiting to be uncovered? Join us as we expose the chilling mysteries that are concealed beneath its surface. The hidden depths of green boots. Landmarks like green boots are more than just part of the view. They help climbers know where they are. Green boots is the frozen body of a climber with green boots, and it acts as a sign on Mount Everest. It lets climbers know they're near the top and reminds them how risky the mountain can be. Climbing and diving are different, though. When divers die, people usually try to recover their bodies from the water. But some places, like the Blue Hole in Egypt, are exceptions. The Blue Hole seems calm and safe, but it's tricky. It often makes divers think it's okay to go deeper than they should. The calm waters hide real risks, and even skilled divers can get it wrong. This spot has claimed many lives because divers were too confident, proving how crucial it is to respect the hidden dangers of nature. Yuri Lipsky, a diving instructor, was fascinated by a well-known underwater arch. This arch sits in the ocean, inviting divers to swim through it and come out on the other side in open waters. Yuri, captivated by this sight, decided to explore it further. At first glance, the arch doesn't seem too daunting in terms of depth and distance. However, it poses a hidden challenge. As divers descend and enter the spacious cavern, they often misjudge how much air they'll need. Many divers find themselves deep underwater with their air tanks running low. The arch starts about 150 feet below the surface and goes down to around 180 feet. At these depths, nitrogen narcosis, which impairs a diver's judgment, can make the situation even more dangerous. A group of technical divers, equipped with special gas mixes for deep dives, ventured to this notorious underwater arch. These divers, unlike many before them, were prepared for the challenges. During their dive, they found multiple bodies of past divers, a stark reminder of the dangers. Their experience highlights not only the risks of deep water diving, but also the critical importance of proper preparation and respect for the underwater environment. Our goal is to show the real experiences of these divers and discuss what they encounter. We'll talk about what we do in their situation and what might happen in different scenarios. It's all about understanding the reality they face and considering how we would react if we were in their place. But this isn't the worst part. Some viewers don't realize the risks these divers take. They face real danger, and it's important to appreciate that. This isn't just for thrills. It's about sharing their stories and the challenges they face underwater. So if you're here to understand more about the divers' world and their experiences, you're in the right place. We'll dive deep into their stories and learn from what they go through. Let's respect their bravery and take a moment to think about what it means to face such challenges. After a tough choice in the cave, we face another challenge underwater. Tragic decisions in the depths. Imagine being lost in a far-off cave. What would we want people to do with our remains if they found us? It's a tough question, but one worth thinking about. We need to consider how we want to be remembered, or maybe even forgotten in such a situation. Now, what if we were the ones finding someone else's remains on an adventure? Should we try to bring them back or leave them in peace? These decisions aren't easy and bring up important questions about respecting those who have passed and the duties of those still alive. Before we watch a video on this topic, let's take a moment to reflect. The original video had some music, but I felt it didn't match the serious nature of the discussion, so I muted it. Without the music, we can really focus on the deep questions and decisions we might face in these situations. Let's hit play and see where this journey takes us, keeping these thoughts in mind. But this isn't the toughest part. What do we really owe to those who came before us, especially in such eerie places? The next few minutes will dive deeper into these questions. At the Blue Hole, divers are getting ready for a deep dive. Each diver has 4 tanks, showing just how tough and deep this dive will be. The waters here are deep and challenging, but under the surface there's a network of caves and swim-throughs that call out to the adventurous. As the divers go under, they adjust their gear and start their descent into the cold, clear water. The Blue Hole isn't just any diving spot. It's a maze of natural underwater tunnels and caves. Every twist and turn offers something new to discover. The excitement among the divers is clear as they explore these hidden underwater paths. What I didn't realize until watching this video was how many cave routes there are beneath the waves. The idea of navigating these underwater corridors is thrilling. I can't wait to explore these areas myself, to swim through the narrow passages and enjoy the peaceful solitude of the underwater world. As the divers go deeper, they move through narrow crevices carved by nature over thousands of years. The excitement of discovery keeps them going, knowing that each move brings them closer to unseen parts of the Blue Hole. But this isn't just a place of natural beauty. As they continue, they see reminders of the dangers in these explorations, bodies of past divers who didn't make it. Each silent figure adds a serious note to the awe-inspiring journey through the Blue Hole. These figures had been there for a long time. This wasn't a recent event. This wasn't an accident that happened just days ago, where 3 lives were tragically lost. There might have been some initial investigation by the authorities, but why the scene remained undisturbed afterward is still unknown. Maybe the conditions made it too dangerous to recover them, or perhaps the logistical challenges were too great. But the sight of them, so stark against the ice, stirred a deep sense of unease. These figures had been there for a long time. This wasn't a recent event. This wasn't an accident that happened just days ago, where 3 lives were tragically lost. There might have been some initial investigation by the authorities, but why the scene remained undisturbed afterward is still unknown. Maybe the conditions made it too dangerous to recover them, or perhaps the logistical challenges were too great. But the sight of them, so stark against the ice, stirred a deep sense of unease. In the silence of the Antarctic, the story of these lost souls whispered to the wind, their presence a somber reminder of the dangers of this extreme environment. But that wasn't the worst part. The eerie, quiet, and untouched scene made it feel as if time itself had stopped, leaving their fate forever frozen in that icy expanse. Let's talk about the situation we're dealing with here. It's a real problem. We have several objects stuck underwater, and it's kind of sad to talk about them in such a cold way. Look at this picture. It shows a tank stuck between 2 big rocks. It seems like it should be easy to fix. Just move it the right way and you can free the tank. There's also a line in the picture that might show where the object is, but we don't know the exact position or depth. Sometimes the videos make it look like it's not too deep, but the divers are dressed like they're going deep underwater. This makes me wonder if some things, maybe bodies, ended up near the surface and just sank, while others got stuck trying to move through an underwater path. Leaving the sea behind, we now question how to honor those lost below, the dangers lurking beneath. Normally, my first thought would be to bring any remains back to their families. It gives a sense of closure. But I think the people who go to these places know ahead of time about the dangers and sad realities they might face, including the fact that not everything lost can be brought back. It's not just about getting things out of the water, but also understanding the risks and emotional toll of these efforts. But this isn't the worst part. The hardest part is knowing that some things might never be recovered, and the emotional impact on everyone involved is heavy. There are clear reasons why some people choose not to disturb it. Many have probably seen it, and maybe the relatives really want to keep things as they are. They might have said, "Please don't touch the remains." That could be the only reason it's still there. Why else would it be left out like that? This all came up when they found it stuck on the rock. It's really lodged in there, so much that you can see the bones. This shows that the remains have been there for a long time. It's not something that happened recently. The body is deeply stuck in that spot, showing that he got trapped there. In the depths of the ocean, explorers found something fascinating. A large underwater arch with 2 openings at its base, about 300 feet below the surface. This dive site was tough and complicated, perfect for those who love a good challenge with its many crevices and caves. But a sad reality dampened the excitement. The site was a resting place for several divers who had passed away. Their bodies were left untouched out of respect for their families. This added a serious and somber feeling to the exploration, reminding everyone of the dangers of diving. The explorers thought the divers might have been aiming for this exact spot when tragedy struck. The tight spaces looked like a cave, needing careful and skilled maneuvering. Old diving lines were still there, suggesting others had tried to explore this area before. These lines, worn out by the salty seawater, were a stark reminder of the risks involved. Some parts of the dive, the explorers found a dropped reel, which made them wonder if its owner had survived the dangerous conditions. But the possibility that it marked a lost life hung heavy in the air. Despite the sad undertones, the dive site was undeniably beautiful. The clear water and intricate pathways through the arch were mesmerizing. Any avid diver would be drawn to such a sight. But this wasn't the worst part. The beauty of the underwater landscape was mixed with the stories of those who had lost their lives there. The explorers moved with care, treating the site as both a natural wonder and a memorial, a reminder of the thin line between adventure and danger in the deep sea. As we looked down into the water, we were surprised by how clear it was. We could see a scene that was both shocking and sad. Below the surface, we saw the remains of past explorers, bodies preserved in the icy water. Seeing them, even from above, made us feel uneasy. The water wasn't as deep as we thought, and the arch we were looking through didn't seem hard to navigate. But the simplicity of the landscape hid the real danger of the place. The big question on our minds was clear. Why wasn't anyone trying to recover these explorers from their watery graves? As the dive team began their decompression stops, marking the end of our underwater journey, this question remained, making the scene even more haunting. But this wasn't the worst part. The environment didn't look harsh or dangerous. In fact, it seemed quite the opposite. The water was clear and the surroundings looked calm. This only made the hidden dangers stand out more. The difference between what we saw and the real danger was what made this area so risky. The peaceful look hid a dangerous underside that had taken lives without warning. From calm waters to icy landscapes, nature's harshness tests our limits. The lure of the abyss. What could have happened to these people caught in such a calm yet dangerous trap? This thought kept nagging at me, a silent reminder of how unpredictable and often harsh these explorations can be. It reminded us of the thin line between adventure and disaster, urging us to respect the forces of nature that, while beautiful, can be brutally unforgiving. When you dive deep into the ocean, the pressure becomes a serious challenge. If something goes wrong, it can quickly turn deadly. Many lives have been lost in the deep sea, often because divers ignore a key rule. Only dive within your skill and experience levels. Some divers, drawn by the excitement, go beyond their training. For example, some who aren't trained for cave diving enter underwater caves. Others dive deeper than 130 feet without the proper certification, risking their lives despite expert advice. This overconfidence usually starts after about 100 hours of diving. They feel like they've mastered the depths, but they are far from safe. Ed Sorensen, an experienced diver and rescue expert, talks a lot about this dangerous overconfidence. He notes that after gaining some diving experience, many divers believe they have nothing left to learn and consider themselves highly skilled. However, this is the point where they are most at risk. But this isn't the worst part. When divers think they know everything, they are actually in the most danger, often making critical mistakes underwater where every second counts. People usually feel secure until a real problem shows up out of nowhere. This recalls a time someone was learning cave diving with Doug Ebersole and only knew of Ed Sorensen by reputation. They asked Doug, if a family member was trapped in a cave, who would you trust for the rescue? Doug immediately named Ed Sorensen, which was unexpected since the Thai cave rescue, led by Rick Stanton, was a hot topic. Later, while training with Ed, they posed a similar question. Ed's reply was, "I'd handle it myself, and if I'm stuck too, just leave me." His serious tone highlighted the risks of cave diving. The shocking part is the realization of the immense bravery and responsibility involved in such dangerous tasks. Ed's willingness to be the rescuer, and if necessary, accept a grim fate alone, teaches a profound lesson about bravery and readiness. This changes how one views each diving experience. Realizing what true courage and preparation mean, especially when someone like Ed faces these dangers so calmly, deepens the understanding of how to tackle big life challenges. The first speaker made it very clear that they never want anyone to risk their life to recover their body. They believe that personal safety and the safety of others are most important. However, they also mention that if they died in a situation where no one else would be in danger, they would want their body to be brought back. This is important to them because of their family's wishes and their religious beliefs, which call for a respectful burial. They emphasize not putting anyone at risk for this. But this wasn't the worst part. The second speaker shared a similar viewpoint about not risking lives to recover their body. They agreed that if someone might get hurt trying to bring back their body, it shouldn't be done. Their reasons were a bit different, though. While not driven by religious reasons, they wanted their body returned to give their family closure. They also thought about the impact on the broader community. They worried that seeing an unattended body could upset others and make them avoid places they love, which could harm the community's connection to those places. Both speakers cared deeply about safety and the feelings of others. They showed a lot of thoughtfulness about balancing their personal wishes, family expectations, and the well-being of the community. They both believed that decisions in these tough situations should focus on keeping everyone safe and emotionally healthy. But that's not the end of it. They both stressed how important it is to think about not just their families, but the wider community, making sure no harm comes to anyone, and considering the long-term effects on everyone involved. As dangers increase, so do our questions about risk and reward in adventure, from heart attack to harmony. Imagine someone choosing not to dive just because someone else suffered a heart attack while diving and tragically passed away in the ocean. It is crucial that no one abandons their dream of diving due to such an incident. Diving is a beloved activity. The boundless waters and the serene depths beneath the waves provide a sense of belonging. Should life cease in the ocean and a body serve as nourishment for sharks, there might be a strange solace in that. With no spiritual or religious demands for specific post-mortem rituals, the concept of returning naturally to the ecosystem, aiding the life cycle of the ocean, truly appeals. Yet this isn't the gravest concern. Despite an affinity for the sea, the thought of deterring anyone from the allure and thrill of diving is unwelcome. The ocean has endless lessons to offer, and to miss out due to such a story would be a true misfortune. The notion of a body permanently residing in a popular diving location is unsettling. Picture divers hesitating at the water's edge, anxious they might encounter a corpse. The concern isn't about the individual's identity, but the mere presence of a lifeless form beneath the waves. This hope alone fuels the desire for the body to be recovered. The grim fascination such a sight might evoke is understandable. A body, motionless and silent under the sea, could transform a delightful dive site into a realm of somber reflections. Divers seek underwater adventures for exploration and enjoyment, not grim encounters. The ocean, vast and enigmatic, should evoke wonder and awe, not apprehension and fear. But this isn't the gravest concern. Should tragedy strike, it's hoped that efforts would be made to retrieve the body from its aquatic resting place. This action would preserve the site's natural appeal and honor the sentiments of the diving community, maintaining an environment conducive to marine life and worry-free diving. Finding bodies in challenging locations aids investigators in piecing together accident scenarios, particularly when supplemented with electronic data from devices. These devices can provide crucial information, sometimes prompting debates over the necessity of body recovery. However, physical evidence from a body can reveal aspects that electronics cannot, like environmental conditions or details specific to the incident. Yet this isn't the gravest concern. Opinions vary significantly on this sensitive topic. Some prefer to remain undisturbed if they perish in such circumstances, viewing it as a peaceful natural rest. Others believe recovery is vital for their own and their family's closure. This complex issue encompasses emotional and practical aspects, illustrating the personal and varied perspectives on death and remembrance. It fosters deep discussions on respect, memory, and the human connection to places, even in death. Imagine being deep inside a cave, feeling the walls close in and the air turn cold and dense. Not an expert in caving, perhaps never even considering cave exploration, yet finding oneself in a difficult situation, or envision a favorite activity like rock climbing turning perilous, possibly leading to a fall from great heights. Such scenarios can be daunting. What actions would be taken? What feelings would arise in such precarious situations? Curious to know the thoughts on whether to continue with the same zeal or reconsider the risks involved in such adventurous pursuits. Here's the point. This isn't the gravest concern. Share thoughts below. Is the thrill of danger appealing, or is a preference for safer pursuits more comforting? How is preparation for the unexpected managed, and how is the accompanying fear addressed? In the video, the speaker stresses the value of sharing knowledge, particularly about remote and challenging areas like Antarctica. The video serves not only as a visual insight, but also as an educational tool, bringing the distant icy realm closer to reality, fostering a deeper comprehension than what books or stories might offer. But that's not the worst part. The discussion extends to the real experiences of those traveling to or living in Antarctica, prompting further inquiries and discussions about how extreme environments impact human activities and scientific endeavors. Sharing these experiences is crucial, enlightening, and fostering curiosity and respect for these formidable landscapes. This method of sharing and learning is vital, diminishing ignorance and cultivating a community that understands and appreciates the complexities of untouched regions of our planet. By engaging with the real-life aspects of Antarctica, the discussion is broadened regarding environmental, survival, and exploratory challenges in extreme conditions. But there's more. This approach does more than educate. It inspires a broader consideration of the unique and extreme parts of our world, leading to a better understanding and appreciation for the Earth we all inhabit. Should extreme sports like diving in hazardous locations be restricted? Let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, leave your comments below, and subscribe for more.